Now that everything on the section is dry, I'm going to go ahead and put the first coat of dark brown on. This is the same dark brown that I use on the Earth Tone Painting Colors page. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on putting this dark coat of paint on because I've already done that on the Sandbag Fortress instructions. So I've got a link on the video here to where you can find the detailed instructions on putting on the dark brown and the other steps involved here. Now I had found after I put the dark brown base coat on, after it dried, these things tended to warp a little bit. They were kind of, kind of going like this, just a little bit. To solve that, what I did is after they dried, I flipped it over and I actually painted brown on the back. And when it's drying, you actually can bend this. You kind of bend it back and actually get it to kind of go back the other way while the paint is still damp. See, it's not totally wet, it's not coming off on my thumbs, but the paint is damp, and while it's damp you can kind of flex this and it'll move. When it's completely dry, it's almost impossible to flex this at all. So if you do find any warpage on these, if you find that they're warped like this, put a layer of brown paint on the bottom of it, and when it's almost dry, kind of bend these back a little bit, and it'll flex them back to where they're a nice flat shape on your table. Next, I'm dry brushing the medium pumpkin pie color onto the planks. Do this for the planks and for the sandbags. I'm not going to go into detail on this because I've already got it on the Sandbag Fortress video, so you can watch that in detail. After that, I'm going over the planks in sort of a very light peachy color just to hit the edges and the highlights. Once again, take a look at the Sandbag Fortress video for details on that color. And it's optional if you want to do the very light peachy color over the highlights or not. Now that the planks are all painted, I'm going to go ahead and dry brush the sandbags. Before I do, I need to mask them off. I'm using some of the Good Blue masking tape. And I'm masking off the planks so that the over dry brushing doesn't get on the planks. So you only need to mask off the areas where the planks are. Don't worry about masking off back here behind the hill because we're going to paint glue and put grass and dirt on it. Now that everything's masked off, I'm dry brushing the light cream color onto the sandbags. Be really careful on this. Once again, the complete instructions are on the Sandbag Fortress building instructions, so I'm not going to go into detail on the exact method of doing this. But with that, with the planks masked off, then I can feel free to actually put a good dry brushing on top of these sandbags. Now to apply the dirt and the grass, take a look at the Sandbag Fortress building instructions and it shows you exactly how to do this. But real briefly, I'm just taking Elmer's glue and I'm painting it all over the surface. Just pour it straight out of the bottle. And next we're going to sprinkle on the dirt and the grass. After the glue is down, I'm going to take the coarse dirt and I'm going to kind of sprinkle around the outside edges of both sides. Then I'm going to take the fine dirt and sprinkle it around the middle. Put plenty of dirt on. You'll find sometimes that you'll have a wet spot showing through. You'll want to reapply dirt so you don't have any wet spots of glue showing through. Once the dirt is in place, apply glue to the outside sides of the model. Then you're going to sprinkle on some various scenic materials. This is ground foam from Woodland Scenics. Once again, more specific instructions are on the Sandbag Fortress building instructions page. Put a variety on, different colors, put them in patches or splotches, and it'll give it a little more of a natural look. Also feel free to sprinkle a little dirt on the bare glue areas that you may have. The dirt will only stick to the glue and it won't interfere with the grass. Now this piece is dried overnight, and as you can see there's a couple of spots where the dirt kind of, I didn't get enough dirt and the glue had soaked it up, and you almost see a little cracked spot down there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wide brush like this and I'm just going to gently brush the excess dirt out, but I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I'm just going to brush out a little bit from the corners, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little bit of dirt over those spots that were cracked. So I'm not going to do a real thorough scraping. I'm just going to remove the extra debris there, and I'm gently going to take the excess off from around the outside edges here. So that extra dirt that I sprinkled on and off of the sandbags sort of remove that excess. Next, I'm going to take the hairspray and completely soak the piece with hairspray. Once again, the instructions for doing this are on the sandbag fortress building instructions. So I'm just going to soak that really well. Let's turn it around so I can kind of get the inside edge of the dirt on the other side here. You might want to do this outside because this hairspray kind of stinks. If you don't want to sheen on your sandbags, you might kind of gently dab some of this excess off. I wouldn't suggest rubbing very hard, but for some reason this hairspray wants to remove the paint from your sandbag. So it's probably a good idea, if you want to get rid of it, at this time go ahead and just gently dab those sandbags in the top of this so they don't have a kind of a light sheen to them. Here's a quick glance over the finished pieces.